What is, you mentioned a team-friendly deal. What would the contract look like?
I couldn't tell you. It'd be within their restrictions.
Yeah, why not? When he's healthy, which is a full year from now, I'd definitely come knocking. He wanted to come here originally,
well, you
right?
have to do it. You have to sign him now. You have to sign him now.
Now, Durant wanted to go to Miami. Lillard reportedly wanted to go to Miami.
Hold on. Lillard's going to be 37 years old with a torn Achilles and blood clots coming off of that.
One-year deal. 1 year deal.
You think he'll take a 1 year deal?
He's making $20 million over the next 3 years. I think he'll take it.
But doesn't he want to feel one year? Hold on. You're talking about a 2 year deal then, because you have to sign him for this year and then next year.
I'm speculating that he'd be okay with taking a quote-unquote team-friendly deal.
Team-friendly, but probably long-term, right? Maybe 3 years of a player option?
I think it, and you're going to laugh at me for this. I think Heat fans are going to like the kid they drafted from Illinois.
Right, but you take this as a gap year in a way, because you got Jonas, who's a good player, and you got to figure out what you're going to do with Hero, figure out out of bio situation. Hero's going to want a big-time extension. You bring in Lillard, sort of reload with young assets, wear another step. You get some space. Next year, the year after this year, is where you really start firing. Is that something that you're interested in?
The way you put
I would lean on the side of no.
You put it in perspective for me.
He's not good enough to make it worth it at this point in his career.
Is he done? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Does he have anything left in the tank?
The worst part is he comes out of he has blood clots.
He gets
healed, and then he comes back and he gets hurt and he tears his Achilles 4 games later. It's a terrible finish. But I mean, if it's cheap and it doesn't make a difference, okay, no problem. But you're gonna have to. He's gonna have calls and offers. So he's not going to just take a 1 year deal just for the hell of taking a 1 year deal.
How do you think Heat fans feel with this whole missed out on Durant? Not that I think
Giannis hasn't
requested
a trade.
But at the same time, all fingers point to him back to Milwaukee. Will we agree on that? So
I don't view that one as much as a missed opportunity if he doesn't explicitly demand a trade. I understand what you're saying.
I guess it's just where do you go from here now? You're not, you were hoping maybe you get one of those big time stars. All right, that's probably off the table. But I just don't know how you drastically, maybe it's not this year. Maybe you don't drastically improve and you keep getting better through the draft.
And then you sort of wait 12 months and wait till he's back.
But is Dame that player anymore?
That's the question. Is it worth it?
I think he's more along the lines of 12 points and 5 assists a game rather than the 26 and 10 we've been seeing over the last decade.
That's a specific assumption.
But
he could be a 20 point per game player again. Who knows? Yeah. But the way I look at it is he's going to want to sign with a contender. He's going to sign with a contender. And he's going to sign a contender that gives him not the most money, but the most amount of, I think, control. So he's going to want at least a 2 year deal because it's going to be this year, next year. And I imagine he's going to want a 30-year deal with a player option so he can control what he wants to do after that.
What are you going to remember Lillard for?
Being a good player that never did anything. He was a good postseason player.
Unbelievable.
He eliminated
with the shots he had. Yep.
Well, he eliminated OKC and he eliminated Houston Rockets in that Game 6 that 1 year.
Yep.
So he's a good postseason player that sort of got overshadowed by the Warriors dynasty. That's his. He's one of those going to be those forgotten pieces that had a great career in the height of somebody else's career. Clyde Drexler of types.
Yep. When they honored...
Won a title, by the way. Wrong guy.
It was a couple All-Star games ago when they honored the top 75 players of all time. Damian Lillard was on that list. They put him on that list. I'll remember him for a great player.
He's one of the top 3-point shooters of all time.
I'll remember him as being a great player. What stinks is he's probably... And maybe he can get a ring later on in his career. Maybe the next stop he does go get a ring to you. You alluded to maybe Boston going at him. I don't necessarily hate that. But if he doesn't end up winning a ring, it's what could have been, right? That whole Giannis and him situation is totally what could have been.
888-760-3776. Should the Heat call Damian Lillard, deal with the year that he's off, and look to really load up for that year following, where maybe you get another year of Hero, Bam, if they're around, get another Lillard healthy, Jonas a year of experience, Ware another year. Is that in their interest? I mean, of the options available, of the cheap option, we know he likes Miami. Is it worth the move? 888-760-3776. Let us know. I'd call him. I would. I'd make him feel wanted. I'd say I'd give you a 3-year deal for $10 million a year. It's $8-10 million a year, something light. And if you want to do this, we'll age your rehab process and just go target it next year. Now, he's a guard. He's a guard that relies not a ton on athleticism, but on his shooting ability. I don't know if maybe we've seen the last of good Damian Lillard.
I was about to. Is that a backwards move though? Like if you're not,
it's a move. Isn't that what we're looking for?
It is definitely, and I think that's what Heat fans. You talk to any Heat fan in this office, they just want to be relevant again. And it's funny because they're 2 years separated from a finals appearance. So, it's not too long ago where you were competing for championships. But I feel like at this point in time, Heat fans are a bit spoiled, and they want to be spoiled again. They want to see competitive playoff basketball, not the crap they've been seeing for the last 2 years in the play-in tournament.
I think I'd call him. I think I would. I think
it's a risk. It's a risk.
But a risk, not financially. It won't be. He's not going to. He's going to be cheap. That you could guarantee. That's right up Pat Riley's alley. But we'll see if they didn't make a move for. I mean, they tried to make a move, but they weren't willing to budge the first time. Well, now you got your opportunity. Are you going to let him slip through and join Denver, or let him slip through and join a random team that doesn't need him this year, that they'll need in maybe a year time? Are they going to do something like that? We'll find out. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. We'll loop in Christian into the conversation.